I don't have anything to do with her disappearance.
Today's story started 30 years ago. On Thursday, July 20th, 1995, 3-year-old Lenoria Elise Ann Jones was reported missing in Tacoma, Washington. Her foster mother and aunt, Berlean Williams, called 911 claiming Lenoria had disappeared while shopping at Target. But within an hour, investigators realized they were dealing with something far more sinister than a toddler lost in a department store. Lenoria was born in Spokane, Washington on January 3, 1992, to Deidre Jones. Deidre lost custody shortly after birth due to Lenoria testing positive for cocaine. Lenoria was placed in foster care and moved between 5 different homes during her first 2 years of life. In 1994, a custody battle for Lenoria began. Deidre, her parents, sister, and Aunt Berlean Williams were all at odds. Deidre initially fought to regain custody, but she became overwhelmed and eventually signed her rights away and asked that the court place Lenoria with her Aunt Berlean. With Deidre out the picture, the court then scratched her parents, Frank and Annie, off the list after receiving unfavorable information about them. The court eventually decided that Lenoria should be placed with Berlean. On paper, Berlean seemed like a good choice. A mother, a Sunday school teacher, and a daycare owner and operator. However, the court was well aware that Berlean wasn't the best fit for Lenoria, who was special needs due to Deidre's previous drug use. A social worker named Debbie Brown had documented concerns about Berlean caring for Lenoria. According to Debbie, Miss W would not have the ability to work with a special needs child, i.e., read and apply knowledge, work with schools, and just plain understand what this child's needs are. Miss W seems next to illiterate, slow in thinking, and doesn't understand the needs of children. Since in the past Berlean has not seemed to make good judgments about normal children, these poor judgments would be more detrimental to a special needs child. The circumstances surrounding Lenoria's disappearance just never added up. According to Berlean, she and Lenoria left their home at 8 a.m. to run errands, and by 9:42 a.m., she contacted the police to report that Lenoria had gone missing in Target.
911, police, fire, and medical aid.
A rude awakening that started with Williams making an emergency call, saying she lost track of Lenoria while shopping at Target. After that 911 call, police arrived at this Target in Tacoma and said they discovered the store's surveillance video told a different story.
They realized that Lenoria had not come into the store with her and that the great aunt went in by herself.
And when the police presented this information to Berlean, she said that maybe Lenoria hadn't been with her at the store. And it gets even stranger because investigators found out that nearly an hour before Berlean had contacted the police, she had called home to report Lenoria had gone missing. Spokane police worked hard to find Lenoria, but came up empty-handed. Over the course of several months, Berlean's story changed several times. The explanations she provided were ridiculous. In one version of her story, Lenoria disappeared in Target. In another, she was abducted by family members, and it was heavily implied that Lenoria's grandparents, Frank and Annie, may have taken her. The police even went to Arkansas to track down Deidre to ensure she didn't have Lenoria. Berlean and her children were uncooperative with police.
I don't have anything to do with her disappearance.
That's what Williams said back then, but soon after, she stopped answering questions from reporters.
Anything you want to say at all? Where's Lenoria?
And from law enforcement, too.
All we have at this point is speculation, unfortunately, and we can't go to court on speculation.
Berlean's lies were exhausting, and they never stopped. In March of 1996, Berlean claimed that she was attacked by a white man in a black car while leaving a gas station. She alleged that the man ordered her out of her vehicle, choked her, and threatened her with a weapon. She said another car drove by, scaring him off. However, investigators found no evidence to support her story, and no hospital records indicated that she had sought treatment after the alleged assault. Now, here's why we're talking about Lenoria's story. It really bothers me that Lenoria's case has gone cold. 30 years later, and we still don't know what happened to her, and no one has been charged. Some people believe she may have passed due to an accidental overdose of her ADHD medication, norpinephrine, which had been linked to sudden deaths in children. However, her mother, Deidre, has her own theory.
What do you believe they did to your daughter?
I believe one of my cousins was my daughter. And I believe my aunt disposed of my daughter's body in some way where she's never been found.
Spokane police are looking into Lenoria's case once again, and my hope is that they solve this case to bring peace to her mother, Deidre. Any and all people in the disappearance need to be locked up, regardless of how old they may be today. So this was a heavy one, but again, Lenoria's story needs to be told. If you're enjoying this type of content that I'm bringing to the channel, please do me a favor and like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Parke Jones, your host, and it's been a pleasure covering all these stories for you all. And like always, I will catch you on the next one.